Clark County School District Board of Trustees, District C, candidate Tamika Henry. My first question is, what barriers do marginalized communities face in accessing quality education?
Thank you so much for that question. There are several, um, but I know even the schools in my district, they lack resources most times, and also our classrooms. We're down a lot of licensed educators within our classrooms, and so that's definitely a barrier. And also, there's a lot of other factors outside of the school that affects our students, like houselessness, food insecurity, um, the lack of their parents working. So there are many barriers that our marginalized communities face.
Okay. So my first question is, what are two specific programs or resources you believe should be implemented to address school-related stress and support students' mental health?
Oh, that's a great question. I really feel that it's important for us to address mental health within our schools. Um, the access to having counselors on site, partnering with community organizations and mental health services is important. There are a lot of agencies who want to come in to support our school district, be it mental health, be it mentorship organizations, and oftentimes they have a hard time getting in and getting through the MOA or memorandum. Um, I'm sorry, it's like an
It's
MOU
okay.
process, and it's really hard for them to get through the process to be able to come in and support our students with services. And so I think that it's important as a school district that we vet those organizations. We see that they are doing great work in the community already and welcome them in because the benefit will be for our students.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
My question is, what benefit or impact do you believe the restriction of phone use has had on students? What do you believe are the pros and cons of this policy?
I have a daughter that's in high school right now, and at the beginning of the school year, she was like, "Oh no," she was like, "Mom, if we can't have our phones," and it's like you're supposed to be focusing on education. I get it. At first I was concerned too, as far as safety. Like, school safety is something that unfortunately we think about all the time, and I want to be able to get in touch with my daughter, and likewise her get in touch with me if something was to occur. Um, but I think as time has gone on, she's gotten used to it. We can have it during our passing time. Um, she is going into her classroom more focused, and and she's able to call me during the passing periods. So the one thing that she does complain about is that it drains her battery. Do y'all have that situation? No. Yeah, well, maybe she's just trying to get me to get her a new phone. It's not happening. But yeah, longest students, I just want to make sure that that they're able to go into the classrooms and be focused on learning.
What impact does teacher burnout have on student outcomes?
Oh, we got to make sure that our educators are taken care of, and that they are well, physically, mentally, emotionally, because it does come out when they are teaching and when they do have interactions with our students. And so it's important for us to make sure that they're not experiencing that burnout, letting them have those moments, um, those moments to reflect, those moments to step away. Same thing with our students. So it's important that we make sure that they have all the resources that they need. Make sure that we have a space on campus that's safe for them when they do need a moment of reprieve, because we want them to be their whole and best self. Like, they're human too, and they're the ones that are coming into classrooms, educating you all, educating my child, and I want them to be happy and healthy. And so, making sure that they are well compensated, making sure that they do have the time to take off if they need it, and just making sure if they need a moment, be mindful of that and have someone step in for them.
Okay, my second question is, what specific safety measures will you implement to protect students and staff members from potential threat?
That question ties into the last question. I think that it's important that we have a good pulse of um, the mental health of our students and our staff members. Um, you know, and making sure that our schools are safe. And I think that it's important. I think that it is important that we do have safety mechanisms on campus already, such as cameras throughout our schools. Some of the feedback that I've gotten from some educators and our administrators is that the cameras don't work. And so it's important that if we're going to make investments like that, we need to make sure that we're maintaining them as well, making sure that they are being utilized for the purpose that they're there for our safety of our schools.
Thank you.
My next question is: do you believe schools are using school budgets correctly? Such as, like, do you think it was a responsible choice to invest in phone pouches? Do you think that was a necessary cost? I guess.
Good question. Um, Looking at our school budgets, it's important that we are spending the money in the right places where it's going to make the most impact. We need to make sure that we have staff members and educators who are compensated appropriately. We need to make sure that we have all of the technology that our students need in their classrooms and other resources. And so, what's it a good use? I'm one of those that I like to see the data to see if student outcomes have improved since pouches have been implemented, and I think it's too soon right now to know. I know that there was a news story that came out that said that students are coming to class ready. We're not having to get them ready and put their phones away, but also what are the outcomes? Um, what data are they looking at? So that's important. We could use that money in other areas.
What strategies can be implemented to promote equity in education?
Strategies. Um, Making sure that we are addressing and looking at the whole child, the whole student. Some students come into our classrooms and to our schools more prepared, more equipped. Their families have, and there are some schools and there are some students in schools that don't. And it's just important that we make those investments if we know that their literacy rates are a little lower, making sure that we have those literacy strategists at those schools, making sure that we're able to provide wraparound services for those students who need it. Everyone doesn't come into our schools on the same level field, and we just need to make sure that we're making those investments so every student can have those greater outcomes. There are some schools that are well resourced. They are 5-star schools. They do have great family and community engagement programs. I think that it's important to replicate those programs that are doing well at other schools. And, we have to make sure that we're funding them properly so all students can achieve greatness.
My last question is, if elected, what strategies will you implement to help prevent students from falling behind and ensuring they maintain a strong GPA to successfully graduate and have a good future?
Thank you so much.
Of
I
course.
think that it's important to assess where students are, celebrating even the smallest of wins. Oftentimes the students that are getting, straight A's, they have different incentives for them, but all students learn differently. And it's so important to celebrate the small wins when we can and build upon that. Again, when I say meeting students where they are is important, but also meeting them where they dream. Making sure that if there's mentorship organizations that can get involved and provide um, extra tutoring services, even um, increasing family and community engagement is important. One of the things that I loved the most when my daughter was in middle school, they had Saturday school where the parents could come in. It was just an hour, don't get afraid. It was like an hour, hour and a half, and it was a time for me to go into the school with my daughter into her learning environment and learn what she's learning, be in her classroom element, see the teaching style of the educator, and then learn some tips for myself of how I could better assist her at home. And so, for students to achieve, it's going to take all of us, the parents, the school district, and our community, to make sure that we are wrapping our arms around them for greater success. I
Thank you.
hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My question is technology is a main part of our education, and because of this, it has caused the education system to rely a lot on technology rather than invest in high quality material and curriculum for students. What are some ways that students can get a high quality education without having to rely on technology?
Oh, that's a great question, too. Um, I think that it's important that, yes, we have technology. I think that it's important to boost our students like critical thinking skills, just to have those like discussions, have roundtables with students, even if it's like project based learning. This summer, I had the amazing opportunity to have a summer camp with students, fifth grade through 12th at my day job. I run an urban farm where students led the learning. They led what they wanted their project to be. Um, it was a lot of peer to peer learning that happened. And that's something that's very important, to get outdoors, get outdoors and experience. So, yes, it's not all about technology, but letting students design what their learning could look like.